Hey guys! Oh my gosh, I completely messed up. I'm so sorry. It's this is so. I'm even so embarrassed to say this. What the hell? But I just I was like, okay, so let me. It's a weird way to start a live stream like this. Yeah, I know. But you would be surprised that I'm actually already streaming for like 10 minutes or so until I realized, well, there's something strange going on. So nobody's really talking in the chat. So what the hell is going on? And I realized, whoa, I completely forgot to click the button go live. And I'm just here talking about something and I'm waiting for anyone to respond. And I'm just, what the hell is going on? So am I talking to nobody right now? It's really weird. And then I'm reading the message from Dan saying, "Are you there?" And it's like, wait. So I completely forgot to click the go live button. But hey, everyone, how you? Oh my god, this is so stupid. But hey, everybody, how are you doing? Oh my god, this is so crazy. I mean, well, there is I need to explain this, yeah, because otherwise I'm completely looking like an idiot right now. But there is a setting in the YouTube studio, and some of you that watched the live streams last year might remember that I've streamed with Restream. And now I'm switching back to the YouTube UI, and in the YouTube UI, not AI, UI, there's a small section like a checkbox that seems like auto go live. And I always checked that box. So that means like when you're starting streaming with OBS, like the recording software, and you click go stream, it automatically starts the live stream. No, for some reason, I decided to uncheck that box. And I forgot to click the go live button manually. All right, so I was sitting here like for 10 minutes and talking to nobody. But anyway, here I am. A bit late, but hey, we might have still enough time to cover some of the topics that I want to go through. So anyway, we will see. And good to see you guys. Hey, it's the first live stream in 2024. So yeah, as I can see, didn't start without any issues. But hey, here we go. Oh my gosh. It was the big Generalprobe. Yeah. That's great, yeah. Great way to see it. Pünktlich wie die Deutsche Bahn. Oh, don't get me started with German stuff that is currently going on in Germany. It's like we are living in crazy times. To say, I mean, everybody from Germany knows what is currently going on in the country. So it's like everybody's going crazy. And Deutsche Bahn is definitely no exception to this. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm so happy that I'm sitting here in my studio and talking to people not living in Germany. Because in Germany, it feels like everybody you're currently talking about is so negative and so frustrated with everything that is going on right now. And let's talk about tech. Let's talk about HomeLab. I'm not going to talk about Germany and those problems. I need a big on air sign. Yes, I need to do something that this doesn't happen again. But anyway, I think it will it won't be an issue next time, because next time I'm planning to do more like making more regular live streams. Maybe in the best situation, or in the best best possible situation, it would be like if I could do it weekly, so like on a weekly base, and we might do certain things like Q&As, like tech talks, maybe reacting to HomeLab stuff again. Who knows, right? I have not planned out everything, but I've planned a couple of things, right? For example, I thought we could do this on a weekly base and talk about some of the news and some of the updates that popped up somewhere online. And I've written down 3 things actually that I wanted to talk about or just highlight. And because I've done it already in the 10 minutes where I wasn't live, I can do it again now. Oh my god, this is so crazy. Yeah, Dan, the people are not liking the live stream because I completely messed up and I was like 10-15 minutes late because I forgot to click the go live button. But anyway, here we are. And yeah, let's do it like this. Let's first talk about some of the news that I read online. And then after that, we'll go into a Q&A section where you can raise any questions in the chat. And hopefully I have enough time to go through most of them. So we will see how that goes. But anyway, let me just share my screen for a second. Because one thing that I wanted to talk with you about is this here. That I read on Mac Rumors, which comes from CES 2024, and that is like Ugreen reveals they're going to work or release a new NAS lineup. So that's pretty interesting. I never really cared about the Ugreen brand because I only know them from like USB cables and adapters and stuff. I know they're a pretty recognized brand on Amazon for those adapters and stuff, and I maybe have a couple of those devices, but it's kind of interesting that they're working on a NAS series. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. And you could also see like it's launching an all-flash compact model for creative and media professionals. That features 4 M.2 SSD drive slots. So that's pretty interesting. They're also coming to Kickstarter at some point, so I say coming soon, right? And yeah, it is not there. I will definitely update you once they go live. Maybe, yeah. We also have the chance to test some of that. But that's pretty interesting here, and also some of the specs actually kind of very similar layout to what ZimaCube is currently releasing. So that will need to go in a fight with them probably. And yeah, but some of those specs are pretty impressive. I'm wondering what the software will look like, though, because with any new vendor that steps into an area they haven't covered before, I'm about to say, well, this software might be, I don't know. But mostly, like, if they, I don't know what's easier to make, hardware or software. But most of this stuff, like, if you create a software or release software, like, and this happens with so many companies and vendors and products, like, the first, like, 1 or 2 years is just, like, fixing bugs. It's like, so, who knows what the software will look like. But it's interesting that they are using an Intel CPU, so you probably can put any OS on it that you like. Very similar to the ZimaCube, so we will see. I'm at least somewhat excited about it and interested in those devices. And it's also interesting that they have some NVMe slots for fast caching and stuff. Yeah, who knows how good the final product will be, but yeah, we will see. Just thought it might be interesting. If making software is hard, making hardware must be tough. Well, honestly, I have no idea, man. So I really don't know what is more difficult to create, hardware or software. I think it's both not easy, but I suppose they might have better connections to hardware stuff, and software is something like, I mean, hardware that needs to go out on a release that is almost good, right? There's nothing you can change afterwards on the hardware side. So most companies are thinking, okay, so our hardware really needs to be like 100% done. We really need to hit like on most of the features that we want to release, that we have confirmed and stuff. But on the software side, you can cheat a bit, right? You can say, it's 80% done, 90% done. There are some bugs. We're aware of these bugs, but hey, we can fix them in the 1 or 2 years after release anyway. So we are just going to release the product. So that's my biggest like worry about software, because you can change things afterwards, and it's similar is happening in the gaming industry when you are releasing games that are like half done or maybe like 80-90% done. You're releasing them because you know you're going to fix like most of the bugs in the first 1 or 2 years after release. So that's why I always am a bit worried about the software, but hey, at least they got Intel, so you can put anything on it that you like. Anyway, thought it would be worth talking about, and I also have like another thing that is interesting. I wanna quickly talk about. I won't be using this for critical data, that's for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, probably I wouldn't too. So you're right. Greetings. Love the Docch or Dockage video. This is such a stupid name. Docch or Docch or Dockage or who came up with this stupid name? I have no idea how to pronounce it, and I'm pretty sure I've done it all wrong. But anyway, I don't care. I think nobody knows how to pronounce Docch, so I think I've done my best. Sometimes you can fix hardware bugs with software. Yeah, that's true, actually. I mean, if you can do a firmware upgrade, then yeah. So, well, next thing that I just wanted to highlight is OpenWrt. And that is kind of interesting. So they released some news on their like celebrating 20 years of OpenWrt. For some of you who don't know, OpenWrt is like a small like Linux. Is it a Linux distro or Linux-based system that is open source, but that's often used for like routers or access points. I know we at Sophos we were using some of their systems, so OpenWrt backend in the access point firmwares. So that's kind of interesting. That's actually the first time I got in touch with OpenWrt because we were using it as the OS on the access points. And that's kind of interesting. So it's very, very efficient, very lightweight, a pretty great system for like custom routers, APs, those kind of things. And they said they're also working on their own hardware stuff. So who knows if it's called OpenWrt1 or something like that. But that might be pretty interesting. So they haven't really talked much about like how exactly it's going to be, but as it seems they are partnering with SFC and Banana Pi to release and ship and distribute the hardware because they are a non-profit organization that's kind of like the only way to do it. You partner with somebody who already has done that with Banana Pi, like similar to alternative to Raspberry Pi. So it seems pretty interesting. So you can see some of these lower specs are really for a more efficient, like aiming below $100 price. And I think that will be pretty interesting if you want to do like a custom router, a traveling router built for home labs, or if you're tinkering around with Linux OS and you want to build your own like AP or router stuff. So that will be pretty interesting. I'm definitely following this one. And another news that is probably not so interesting for HomeLab people, but it definitely has shaken up the industry so that HP is going to acquire Juniper Networks, or at least like they're about to acquire Juniper Networks for like, where's the number? $14 billion. So this is absolutely crazy. It's insane. And what really surprised me a bit, and I have no idea what they're really doing or what they're aiming for, but they say they acquired Juniper Networks to accelerate AI-driven innovation. Whatever that means, right? I mean, like AI stuff is such a buzzword that everybody likes to put on anything. But I'm really excited or interested to see what the hell they come up with in the networking space that is AI-driven. So I have no idea what they're working on, but it seems like, okay, so this is definitely something that you should follow if you're in the industry somehow. I mean, we just recently talked about it on our Teams meeting at Sophos, where we're talking about that, and yeah, it's kind of interesting to follow, at least for people who are working in the industry. And it doesn't really say if like they keep Juniper as a brand or as a company, or if they are just acquiring it, or if they are fully integrating this into HP, and if they are forming like a new series of products that has HP logo on it. Who knows? No idea. But yeah, we will see. Maybe somebody has ideas. AI switches and firewalls. Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement. But honestly, I have no idea in which way that could be useful. I mean, like these days, it seems like everybody's just putting AI on a product, and it's like I think it is this way, right? So everybody's talking about AI right now, and there's a lot of money to make in AI. So product managers are talking to their engineers and or VPs are talking to their product managers and saying, hey, we need AI in our software. And this is actually the first step. So the second step is somebody actually tries to think about, okay, so we need to include AI. How to make it actually useful? And I think this is the complete way, the complete wrong way to release a product or a feature, because first you should actually think about a new feature that kind of makes sense, that brings some value to your users. And I think this is like not the first step that all the companies are doing right now. So the very first step that they are taking is, hey, everybody's talking about AI. We need AI, so we're going to integrate it in our product. And then the second step is how to make it actually useful. There are so many products, like for everything, right? That has some AI or ChatGPT integration, and I'm always wondering. So I barely use any of those features because I think like all of this stuff it comes up with generic suggestions for things that you wouldn't need. I mean, it's like, who needs that, right? I mean, I'm not saying this is all bullshit, but I think like in many products, AI stuff is just bullshit. And yeah, we will see what they come up with. If they just have a switch that has an AI feature, because I don't know, in a central management software where you are managing your network devices, you can talk to a chatbot, something like, hey, please show me all the switches in the production environment. And then it comes up with something. I was supposed this is such a bullshit feature. Nobody would need that. But hey, who knows what they are developing? Maybe they come up with something really innovative. Who knows? But if this is just a copy paste and let's put ChatGPT into a firewall or into a switch, I'm not really excited about it. It actually needs to make sense. AI integration needs to have a purpose. And if it doesn't, if the only purpose of AI is just to exist and just to have AI, well, then it's just a shitty idea, in my opinion. But just ranting a bit about all the AI trends that are currently everybody's talking about. Same with upper management wanting dashboards. They never do anything with them other than impressing their bosses. Yeah, well, maybe that's the whole purpose, yeah, to just show something. I mean, I can tell you a story I'm currently working on, like in the of Sophos in the OEM division. And kind of like, if you are familiar with Sophos products, like we have a bunch of like customer-facing products like endpoint, firewall, switches, and stuff. And in the OEM division, we are really working with the core technology. So we're talking about API, like for virus scanning. Of course, you got a Sophos endpoint that you install on a machine or something like that, but it needs to have an engine that scans malware, right? And like if you're like selling this to an OEM vendor, of course you don't want to sell the end product. You need to sell those core components. And whenever we are talking about something, we really have a hard time like presenting something that is actually like visually impressive, or that you need to show visuals, because all of the products are just existing as APIs and as backend core technologies. I mean, you could show them a bunch of code, but nobody's gonna read that in a presentation. So that's like, how do you present this to your boss? So if you have accomplished something new, and I think this is why dashboards and web UIs are sometimes used for, like, just to show something. That's actually one of the things that I feel like dashboards have a right to exist, but yeah, it is what it is. Just like a short story around that, but it just popped up in my mind when we were talking about UI dashboards and graphical stuff. Great to see you talk about tech stuff. AI, very first step to improve service. Yeah, well, we've talked about AI recently. Since ChatGPT, every company is talking about their generative AI differentiators. Frankly, generative is just bullshit. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think like we need a few years to actually differentiate or like come up with key differentiators between AI solutions. And honestly, the most AI solution I'm currently excited about is Apple's AI solution. So what they come up with, that is something that will be interesting for me. And if they just do something like a ChatGPT clone for iPhones, I'm gonna be very upset about it, because I thought, well, Apple, you're already late in the AI game, so you need to come up with something that is entirely different. And if they don't, they will completely disappoint everybody. But hey, we will see. Hope it's like a better IDS IPS. I'm not sure whether AI can help in those kind of situations, because honestly, what I can tell you, if you do IDS IPS with AI, you will have a lot of false positives, right? I mean, we see that in our solutions. If we're like using AI technologies in malware scanning or URL scanning, you kind of have the problem of AI. AI is like, the false positive rate is depending on like the like the score you get. Like, for example, an AI solution scans like a malware site, a bunch of code. It comes up with a score from 0 to 100. And you're going to decide, so at which point you clarify something as malicious or not. Usually when you do that at 50, so something like below 50 is malicious, and everything above 50 is clean or most likely clean. Well, that works for most of the known stuff, but if it's for AI, for unknown stuff, you're gonna have different types of false positive rates depending on, so where do you differentiate between malicious or clean. And that's like, I don't think like a purely AI-driven IDS IPS solution will work, because a lot of this technology is always based on patterns and like signatures that you need to release and review. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will surprise us with a next-gen AI feature that does network scanning, but I'm not really convinced this is gonna work. Because the problem with IDS IPS, if you block something that is false positive, you're gonna see problems on the customer side. Like, an application is not working because it cannot communicate with the other end. You're gonna have a lot of problems if you just let them scan through AI. Definitely. Love the UniFi dashboard. Oh, I love to. Honestly, it's a short teaser, but I have gotten something from UniFi, and I'm going to make a video about it soon. So it's gonna be interesting. And actually, it is my first UniFi device ever. So I've not worked with UniFi before. And I can just say, it's pretty cool. So they have a lot of great stuff in here. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what you think about the video, because as someone who is entirely new to this, there are a lot of things that, were like, I needed to get into. And yes, it is the UniFi Express. And I know, I'm a bit late, like every YouTuber or HomeLab YouTuber has talked about it a month ago. But hey, who knows, Germany and stuff, so shipping to Germany always takes a bit longer. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, the same problem with like 45 drives is they don't invite anyone from Europe or anyone from like other countries than US. So it's like, I don't know. That's why you most likely will see like the US based YouTubers or HomeLab YouTubers always a bit faster when showing new stuff, right? No, I have never tried out microtic routers or switches. No, I probably should have, but honestly, I'm really, the last years, I'm less and less working with networking stuff. So like, those days are over. So most likely, I'm currently working on like most of the stuff that I'm currently working on is like project work. So like project-based work in automation, security automation and stuff. And it's really not about networking anymore. And it's kind of like, yeah, I sometimes miss it a bit. But, well, then I'm thinking about all of the stuff that I needed to do when I was working in tech support, like troubleshooting IPsec and fixing stupid firewall configurations and stuff, and then I'm okay, no, I'm fine where I am right now. So even if I don't have so much to do with networking stuff, I'm pretty happy where I am. We did a POC on Darktrace a couple of years ago. The AI was very good at detecting anomalies, but then a human has to spend time investigating. Yeah, that's a problem with AI. I mean, it's like how we use AI is like there are like, what can I tell you? For most of the known malicious stuff, like you there are the vendors that do it in a right way, and those who have like good telemetry, those who have like large databases and like a good backend, they catch like 99% of the known malicious stuff, right? AI is really useful if you go for the unknown, and this is where you always see like false positives. I mean, that's like based on the type of solution, but it allows you to catch stuff that would go under the radar, and you really need like human effort to do threat researching on those AI based results. But if you can feed them back into your core solutions, you're gonna have a huge benefit, and that's where AI is most usefully been used in such products, is with scanning unknown stuff and like raising alarm signals where like threat hunting and threat researching actually goes deeper in and actually analyzes the threats. Thank you so much, Blazed Reality. I'm fine, thanks. What about you, man? Only need a /24 subnet to play with? So what's stopping you from that? A cool video made about Dodge. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Why do you need a 24 subnet for playing with Dodge? That's kind of interesting. My fiber provider can supply a static IP block. I keep going back and forth in my mind what I would use for it for a HomeLab environment. Well, you need to be more precise with what exactly you are looking for. So, are you looking for hardware like a firewall or something like that, or a gateway? No idea. I mean, it's fine that you got static IP block, but what you're gonna do with it, I have no idea. Damn, you missed my question. Yeah, just repeat it, man. So sometimes I just can keep up with all of this stuff that you guys put in the chat. I'm sorry for that. So if I miss anything and you're not going recognized, just put it again. So maybe the second time I'm gonna read it. Any thoughts on the UniFi cloud permission problems? Users having access to someone else's devices? It is corrected, but have the reservations. Yeah, I've read about it. It's actually a good point. So that one surprised me, really. I mean, this is something that should never happen. And I think it did pretty bad on UniFi's or Ubiquiti's reputation, because those things are pretty ugly. I mean, it's like, so if you got a security incident, something like, I don't know, like you got a malware problem, something is like you didn't catch a CVE, or you messed up with I don't know, some bugs or anything like this that took a system down or something like that. It's most likely not that bad, but if you're exposing customer data, well, this is the worst that can happen. And I think this is really, because this really shines bad on your reputation. It really hurts your company. And I was surprised to read it. I mean, it's like, I personally didn't get into any issues with that, obviously, but I thought like, oh man, this should never happen. I mean, it's like, things like that happen. Yeah, it's like, but there is really no excuse. I haven't gone into like the root cause of it. I haven't really read any official communication from UniFi about it, to be honest. But at least if they were transparent about it and fixed it pretty quickly, I mean, that probably has prevented some of the damage. But anyway, if they had something exposing video streams or exposing customer data, this is pretty bad, definitely. But it's like, well, what can you do about it now? I'm glad it's fixed, but it's definitely not the best that could happen to a company. let me put it this way. Can you show how did you set up your Nextcloud to use? Well, this is like, honestly, I'm not using Nextcloud right now. It's like, I have done a video about it once I tried it out a couple of like, it probably was 1 or 2 years ago, but it's like, I'm not using it anymore. I mean, It's just not, to be honest, and I'm probably not the type of HomeLab guy who likes to self-host everything. I mean, I addressed that already in the past, that I still love to use SaaS solutions, so software as a service type of, or cloud services, if they make sense. Because I think, like, for some people, HomeLab is just about self-hosting, right? To just replicate what you can buy from a vendor and do it on your own. But that's not really my goal with my HomeLab. So my goal is more like finding solutions for things that are interesting. So, I mean, like, really drilling into the technical things and find out how things work under the hood and try experiment a lot. But it's not about like just replicating something that I could buy for like $5 a month. That is not really my goal. You definitely see this a lot, and there's I mean, this is probably part of why a lot of people do home labs and self-hosting stuff. Sure, but it's not like I'm not really. That's why I never got so interested in Nextcloud, because Nextcloud for me just looks like a cheap clone to Office 365 or something like that, right? And I definitely think like, okay, so I know it probably sounds a bit like, yeah, I don't know. Most people will be angry about when they hear it. But it's actually just my opinion, right? I feel like Nextcloud, this is great for some people, but it's not for me, because I don't have a problem with just giving $5 a month to Microsoft and have like a more mature solution that I don't need to host myself or don't need to be worried about whenever I'm losing data or not. So that is really where I think like, this is not so interesting for me. So I'm not really using Nextcloud anymore. I mean, maybe I will in the future when it catches my interest again, but currently I think there's not really a problem that I have with cloud solutions that Nextcloud would actually solve better. That's why I'm not really using it. What's the topic for today? Yeah, you can just ask any questions you like, and if I have time for it, I can go through them. If not, well, we need to do it on the next live stream, but probably I will go live next week again, so hopefully without any technical problems, so we will see. But yeah, I'm thinking on doing a Ceph cluster for my home lab. Currently, custom NAS by Zima board. My NAS isn't enough space. Anything I should be aware? Well, you need to be more precise with that question, to be honest. But there's also the opposite side. It's not just the price, it's more people to own their data. Yeah, sure, that is true. I mean, I'm not saying that this is not important. It's just not important to me. And I know for other people it might be important to own the data. And yeah, I totally respect that. So that's also why I'm creating these tutorials. I'm not creating like tutorials about something like Nextcloud because I want to convince people using it. That's not my point. When I'm interested in parts of the technology, I'm just gonna share my knowledge, and people find something useful or not. But I don't always like use everything that I show in the video myself, because some things may work for me, some things might not work for me. But I still recognize, okay, if this is a good solution, it might have a use for somebody else. So that's why I'm doing it. But like honestly, and yeah, maybe I'm kind of like a special German, because Germans usually are very cautious about privacy and owning their own data. But honestly, I don't have a big problem with putting most of the stuff that I have in the cloud because there is nothing like critical. I mean, most of the data that I have is really just about making videos, and those videos are public anyway. So I upload my videos to YouTube, so there's no real benefit of actually storing the script for the video or the notes for the video somewhere in a private storage. I mean, the video is out there, so what is the problem? What could go wrong? Like, this is not confidential data that I somehow have somewhere. So if I have confidential data, I'm treating it different. So I'm not putting it in the cloud, obviously. But there's really just little of this stuff that I have, yeah, and most of the confidential stuff is about credentials, like passwords or secret notes about banking stuff and so on, and that I put in a password manager, right? So that's not, I'm not putting this on a shared storage drive. So most of the data that I have is I'm totally fine with just uploading it, because my video projects are on YouTube anyway. So what the hell? Yeah, but it's just like, you need to think about, you need to set your priorities right. So if somebody comes to me and says, I have a lot of important documents that I don't want to share with anyone, so they're secret things. And yeah, of course, you wouldn't use Microsoft 365 for storing that data. I totally get it. Maybe their Nextcloud is a great alternative for you. Who knows, right? So that's why I'm making those videos, not because I'm all about it and I'm all committed to a specific solution. I'm never really fully committed to any specific solution. I just use what makes the most sense for me, and I see, okay, so there's some great stuff here and there that might make sense for others, so let's do a video about it. I think that definitely explains it. No, I didn't have a look at Proxmox backup server yet, so and I probably won't in the future. What's your opinion on Nomad versus Kubernetes? Very simple. Nomad is on my list to try out since the very beginning of this channel, and I never haven't gotten into. So that should tell you about it. So Kubernetes is definitely like, it's my go-to for container. So Docker and Kubernetes, obviously. And Nomad, I have no idea. I mean, I would love to try it out, but who has time? Who has time? Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you about one thing that happened just the last week. And I was about to copy some of the video projects from my computer to. Ah, hey Ralf, ja, natürlich kommst du an. Grüße gehen raus. So I was about to copy data from my computer to my storage device, and then I was copying the data back, and then suddenly a message appeared that was wrong permissions. And I thought, what the hell is going on? So wrong permissions on my storage server? What the hell? And I tried to copy the data. I went on the shell, and I recognized, oh, there are 2 drives missing in the RAID Z1 storage pool. And when 2 drives are missing, that's pretty bad. So I thought, okay, yeah, who knows? Yeah, I'm just gonna reboot this server. After reboot, no drive was detected, so the whole storage pool wasn't detected at all. And I was just about, oh no, what the hell is going on? Hopefully I've gotten a backup. Well, I had, but it really worried me. So I thought about, let's open the server case. I pulled out the server from the rack and just I just shaked the cables, yeah, and just reconnected the cables, booted up the server, and everything worked perfectly again. And I was about, oh my gosh. So what the hell did go wrong? I have no idea. I'm really thinking about, so there must be some problem with the SATA controller on the main board, because this has like an 8 SATA ports, and 6 of those ports are on one plate, so they're really well tied together. And then there are 2 additional SATA ports, so the ports 7 and 8, and they are somewhere entirely different on the main board. And I thought, so maybe if these are the 2 drives, I don't know what was going wrong. So maybe, I don't know. But it could be a problem, like with the cables or with power supply of the hard drives. Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad that it works again. So I never really needed to do anything to restore data, so I just needed to reconnect the cables, boot up the server, and then it's okay. I was really surprised. So 2 drives are failing at the same time. It's pretty weird, because the drives are, I mean, they're pretty new. So that would be really the worst case. But that reminded me of why it's important to have a good backup. Oh my gosh. Why do you choose to open this channel speaking English? That's a good question. I sometimes I have answered it in the past, but I'm gonna do it again. it's just like I feel like most of the IT people, even in Germany, are talking English and they understand English because like all of the modern and like advanced IT stuff is in English. Like most of the people are working in international teams and so on, so it doesn't really hurt anybody to learn English. And actually, because I started a new role that required me to switch from a regional German team into an international team, I, from one day to another, needed to talk English to everybody, and it was so hard. So I thought, yeah, if I'm gonna do the channel in English, it forces me to practice it more. So that was one of the reasons. And obviously, I thought it would have a better or a bigger reach. Like I'm reaching more people when I do it in English instead of just making the videos in German. So those two reasons. Many thanks for your work. Oh, thank you. Which of your favorite tool for centralizing logs? Currently, I don't do that, and I know I should. I probably will have a look at Grafana stuff, because Grafana has some really cool stuff for centralizing logs, as far as I know. But I still need some more time drilling into this topic, so it's probably on my list somewhere in summer, or maybe in yeah, summer this year. I probably will have more time to research areas that I haven't gotten into before. So, and that's definitely there in this time frame. So to actually check log centralization and log management in my home lab. How long did the scrub last after missing drives back again? Yeah, I haven't done that manually, to be honest, Clash. So I'm sure it was just a connection problem. So nothing with the file system or anything like this. Who knows? And yes, I have a job besides the channel, which makes me crazy sometimes. But yeah, a lot of the knowledge that I have comes also from this job. So it's kind of like, well, that's actually not true anymore. I mean, in the beginning it was, because a lot of the knowledge I have about networking stuff and firewall stuff, that comes from the first job that I had. Yeah, and yeah, also the second. But the current job that I have, really, since I'm working in the OEM division, it really is less overlapping with the content I do on YouTube. So there is somewhere here and there an overlap, but it's not really huge. I mean, that is a problem, yeah, because I'm working in like cybersecurity in my main job, but it's not like pen testing, hacking stuff. I'm more on the blue team side, right? And I'm more like I started working in this as a support technician, and walked my way up to account management and stuff. And now I'm currently mostly doing project work, but I'm also like helping with conceptual stuff, marketing stuff, so anything that comes up in the team. And it feels like more and more disconnected to the technical stuff that I do for my home lab. So honestly, I would say, yeah, there is not so much overlap anymore from that, or more transitionable knowledge that I gain from these HomeLab projects that I could transfer into my main role, which is kind of a bit unfortunate, because that was a plan in the first place. So actually experiment with technology that will give me some experience and advanced knowledge that brings me further in my IT career. And that helped a lot to get into the current position where I am right now. But I think where I am right now, from there's really little development that I can do. I mean, it's kind of like, that sounds like negative, but to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the current situation. So it's not that bad. Just I need to have the time, and I need to find the time for balancing those two things in my life, like content creation plus main job. And that's sometimes hard. But yeah, I do what I can to do it the best. And even though there's little overlap, I sometimes can't use or reuse some of the stuff that I'm learning here in parts of my work that I do. And yes, I wish that I can go back to a bit more technical stuff, but currently it is what it is. I mean, it's kind of like, sometimes it's great to have like not working the full time technical, because it can also be exhausting sometimes. So if there is a good balance, I'm pretty happy with that. Because I'm also a very creative person, like doing a lot of marketing stuff and like content creation. It also is like a lot of it's great, refreshing work. I just couldn't do that the whole day. That's the main problem I have, right? And I also couldn't programming the whole day or do like home living stuff. That's really where I'm pretty happy with balancing that all. Like the creative work, the technical work. I just hate going into meetings. That's the only thing that I just don't enjoy. So having a lot of meetings and it's just like annoying. I'm happy when everybody leaves me alone and just lets me do my job, but that apparently doesn't always happen. Well, OEM is just a business. Like it's like a division that focus on like partnering with other big companies, right, to integrate products into other products. And it's like it's just a department, and what you do depends on your role. That is something entirely different. But I always say it, OEM is very special because it doesn't have anything to do with the end product. It just has something to do with the core technologies that you are selling to another vendor, most likely under NDAs and special agreements that you have with those companies. And those are really the big ones. Yes, I know. Wazoo. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's always like the same problem with Dokch and Wazoo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I don't care anyway. I just pronounce it the way I think it should be pronounced. Wazoo is on my list to take a look, so you're definitely gonna see a video at some point there. But it will take some time. I'm currently working with them on like a short ad sponsoring on one of my videos, and then I'm about to review their solution and maybe show you around. We will see. The meetings are at some times such a waste, like being 10 people inside a meeting. Yeah, well, the problem with meetings is like most people actually don't know how to structure meetings. If meetings have a purpose and if meetings have an agenda, they can be quite good. But the problem is most people don't know how to do meetings. They just hop on a meeting, and there are literally people in organizations, they just set up the whole day with meetings, and they never do anything. So they just go and talk. And I think like every meeting that doesn't have a purpose is a wasted time. But if you have a problem and sometimes like sometimes there are areas where you can just write somebody a message or an email to help you with a simple question, right? But sometimes going back and forth in email communications is also a waste of time. So in that, I prefer a quick meeting or a quick call that will solve problems, and also you get more personally in touch with people, which is sometimes useful. It depends on how frequently you have meetings. So if I have like 2 or 3 meetings a day, that's too much for me. So 1 meeting a day, and maybe have 1 or 2 days a week where I don't have any meetings, that's just perfect. That's what I'm aiming for. But like, some people just want to have meetings for everything, and this is just so stupid. It's just like, I always say like, okay, so tell me what you want to tell me, and then just leave me alone and let me do my work. And that's where you get the best result. It doesn't help to waste time like on like 2 or 3 hours of meetings a day, because these are 2 or 3 hours I cannot work. So this is like where people recognize that. I think that's where you can use meetings more efficiently, because you can, if there are some complicated things that just make sense to cover or to just talk with somebody personally, just set up a 30 minutes, maybe a 1 hour long meeting where you can get really productive and then just get back to work. So that's, but yeah, it's like, it is what it is. I mean, that's the problem. For me, the funniest meetings are when the person that made the meeting is late. Or I hate this. And this is so disrespectful, to be honest. I just hate when people are late on meetings. Also, when they are like 5 minutes until the meeting starts and then, oh, I need to reschedule this. Honestly, this is really disrespectful to people's time, actually. And I really hate when people do this. So I really, when I set up a meeting, I'm most likely always committed to it, because I know if I don't show up, then I'm wasting other people's time, and I don't want to do that. So it's really, but some people don't have that mentality. They just think it is okay to be a few minutes late. No, it's not. So honestly, I would then say, like, I would sometimes, if people do that to me, like, multiple times, I'm just gonna decline their invite. I'm just gonna like say, okay, so yeah, send me an email. Yeah, it is. If they are late or forgot to press the go live button. Hey man, hey, don't blame me for that. Come on. I mean, well, that was great one, Christoph. That was really great one. Okay, guys. Well, I need to go. It's so much fun to meet with you. And next week, let's do part 2. Let's do next week a HomeLab Talk Q&A part 2, because I think, like, we didn't cover all of the questions, and I'm sorry if I haven't paid attention to some of your questions. It's probably just because I'm distracted. And next week I will remember to press the go live button at the right time. So I'm not gonna waste your time again. So hey guys, so thank you so much, and have a nice rest of the day. And yeah, I'll catch you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.